Okay, so I know we totally just cut off like everyone's favorite song, but we wanted to tell everybody that we have a new YouTube channel, and we need you to subscribe to the new channel because we're not uploading or streaming on the old channel anymore. It's still the Voice of Stockton.
It's going to be fresh, brand new.
New content.
Great content.
Yeah.
Only, exclusively, on KXVS.
Yes, if you on this video will be a link in the description where you can click it, but if you want to type it in, we made it real easy for you. You know bit.ly, the short link, bit.ly, so you can type bit.ly/subscribe_KXVS_YouTube. So bit.ly, excuse me, bit.ly/subscribe_KXVS_YouTube. That's easy enough, right, Donovan? Donovan is the silent minority.
Speechless.
I'm trying to get my accent right. Hold on. I'm just throwing over it in my head. Let me start. Hold on. Yeah, hold on. How to do it? All right, I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to go subscribe to this new channel. It sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Yo, what's different about this channel than the last one?
Well,
what's changed?
Well, we're making some changes. We're always doing something new, but this is something that we had to do this, and we've had to do this for a while. So this new channel, it's really not much different, except the channel will be different. So all our new content is going on the channel, and we're going to migrate all our videos over to that channel as well, and we won't be using the old channel. So if you're waiting on that channel, you'll be missing it. So please do subscribe to our new channel, and it's real easy. You know, follow us on Facebook, thevoiceofstockton.org. You can find us everywhere. Keep watching us on our live streams, but that's it. We just wanted to break in and tell you that.
And let's make Stockton better together.
That's right. Make Stockton better together. All right. So, you know what? Let's start this track over because this is the best bomb song. And thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you. KXVS, the Voice of Stockton, with Donovan and Mr. Details, Dustin Breakwell. This is Governor Don signing off.
This is Darius Oliver, and you're listening to 92.1 KXVS, the Voice of Stockton.
The views and opinions expressed in the following program do not necessarily reflect those of KXVS, the Voice of Stockton, or its parents, affiliates, management, and staff.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Lion Connie O'Day coming from Stockton, California, USA, with our weekly show of Lions We Serve Live. Today we've got lots of wonderful things going on internationally and within the state of California. And I'd like to just give a shout out to all of you out there that are having your conventions. I hope that you all attend your conventions in every district that you are a member of. This coming April 12th through the 15th, I'm in District 4, MD4A1 here in California, and we are having our 69th annual district convention, and it's going to be April 12th through the 15th in San Ramon, California, at the San Ramon Marriott Hotel. And for those of you that are in our district, I hope you'll all attend. It's going to be an exciting event. On Thursday, there's going to be a wonderful golf tournament with lots of wonderful prizes and a wonderful first evening dinner. And on Saturday, or excuse me, on Friday, can't forget Friday. Friday is our chili cook-off. We will be having elections on Saturday, so those who are running for the different offices are having social rooms for lots of good food, lots of good drink, and lots of good socializing. And then later on, we're having a ice cream soda and ice cream social and soda, and then we're having an evening of line dancing. So that's going to be great on Friday. That's the fun day of the convention. Saturday is our voting day, and it's also going to be at our luncheon. We will have our student speaker contest for the district. And that evening we will be having the governor's buffet and ball. And Sunday, we will be having our Sunday breakfast with our awards presentations to all of the Lions and clubs that have done wonderful things through the past year. So all of you out there that are in District 4A1, I hope you will go online. And in our newsletter, our current newsletter, is the registration for the convention. And I hope you all get out there and come to this wonderful convention and send your delegates to vote for our next district governor and first vice and second vice district governor also. And so that is coming up April 12th through the 15th. And then there is another great event that we're going to be having here in our district is our annual Lions All-Star football game. This will be the 45th year that we've held this football game. And this is going to be held at the Tracy High School Wayne Snyder Stadium in Tracy, California. What this football game is, we take the best football players from the northern district high schools and from the southern district high schools. We create two teams. Lions throughout the district sponsor each and every one of the students that are the football players on each team. There's a big banquet and other social and practice things happening a week before the football game, and then we have a great football game. And during the halftime, all the Lions have a parade of their banners, which is very exciting. And everybody gets involved, and it's a wonderful, wonderful program for our high school football players. So I hope you that are in our district and outside of our district will come, and it's online at the MD4A1 website. And it will be, again, I'll say it's going to be June 16th of this year and in Tracy, California. And the high school coaches from the South schools is Coach Frank Marquez from Hillmar High School. And for the northern team is the coach Anthony Martinez from Lincoln High School. Actually, that's my alma mater. So I'm rooting for both sides of the teams, okay? So that's coming up. Also, another, for all of you out there internationally, we have the International Convention. I'm sure many of you already know about it, but the International Convention this year is going to be in Las Vegas, California. And that's June 29th through July 3rd. The only new information I can give you is for parking, it's going to cost. That's the new thing in Las Vegas. Parking is going to cost. And so the best advice that we can give you for the International Convention is to park your car at your hotel and take local transportation. Okay, then as every year, we have the Lions Rose Float for the Rose Parade on New Year's Day. That would be January 1, 2019. This year's theme for our float is called Preserving Our Environment. And this float is going to be 30 feet long. And the design depicts our Leos, planting trees and overseeing the preservation of a historical landmark. The float will also include an animated water wheel. We started our floats in the Rose Parade in 1992, and ever since 1992, we have had a float in the New Year's Eve Rose Parade. So this is a great opportunity. It's going to be on television. It's going to be televised all over the world. One of our best advertising for what Lions do. It is in Pasadena, California, and for those of you who are able to go, I've gone one time, and I was able to work on the float, and I was able to go into the warehouse where they've got all the thousands and thousands of roses. What a wonderful experience. And so if you're able to go to the Rose Parade, I would certainly look at getting tickets now and making your plans, because this is a wonderful, wonderful event. And also, the California MD4 81st Student Speaker Contest is still continuing. At this time, we are having the regional level contest for the students. The winning student receives $250. Now, the next level that the students will go to is to the district, and that's at our district convention. We will be giving out, we will be having the students that are participating will be doing their student speaker contest there at our district meeting and our district convention, excuse me. And here is when they start receiving thousands of dollars in scholarship money. So I hope in your district here in California that you are pursuing your student speaker contest. It's a wonderful event, and we look forward to having our student speaker contest at our district convention at San Ramon. Also, I have some other information here about White Cane Day is coming up. And I know many of you participate in the White Cane, and that's to raise money to help the blind. The White Cane is a symbol of vision impairment, and so I hope that every one of your clubs out there are participating in the White Cane Day, and that's October 21st. But if you can't do it on October 21st, you can do it any time during the year. Also, another annual event is Flag Day. That is going to be on the 14th coming up, and Flag Day is one of the things that most of the clubs do is go to elementary schools and talk to the students and teach them what the flag really represents. And we also pass out small flags, and those can be purchased through our Lions store of supplies. So I hope you'll all participate in the Flag Day, because it's really important to teach our students what the flag really means and show them the pride and in having our American flag and doing the flag salute. So I hope all of you will participate in Flag Day. Also, we have the USA-Canada Forum coming up in Columbus, Ohio. That's September 20th through the 22nd of this year. This is one of the greatest events that we have, and there is so much to learn about leadership at the forum. So I hope many of you will be able to go. Now I'd like to talk to some of our Lions out here that are in our local district of MD4A1. We have some wonderful events. There is the newsletter, the current newsletter lists all the current events that are coming up. So if you go to www.lions4-a1.org, you will find the newsletter there. And we have now found out what the theme for the next Peace Poster Contest is for this year, 2018-2019. The theme this year is Kindness Matters. The essay contest is open to also visually impaired, and those who are visually impaired can write an essay on this theme. Now, last year, right here in Stockton with my club, Stockton San Joaquin Lions, at one of our elementary schools, and these students that participate are from the ages of 11, 12, and 13, we had 78 entries. At another school, we had a couple of entries, and at Victory School, which has classes for visually impaired, we had 2 essays. So we really had a big student peace poster contest. And so I hope you'll all participate in that. And again, the theme is Kindness Matters. And it's time for you now to contact our main office and to order your Peace Poster contest packet. Okay, it's $11, and you must get it ordered right away. Okay, now there's some things happening in Sonora. Sonora Lions, they are always so busy. There is a program that in 2 weeks, I am going to be having the chairperson of this program from Sonora Lions here on our radio show. And she's going to tell us all about the Sonora Lions Read to Succeed program that she has done with the elementary schools in the Sonora area. So that's really exciting. That's coming up in 2 weeks. And Sonora is also having the Lions Harvey Dusty Rhodes annual Chapino dinner. And that's going to be on March 30th. And if you go to the Sonora Lions webpage, then you will get all the information and about that particular dinner. And Lion Harvey Dusty Rhodes has passed away, but he is a very well-respected and very well-remembered lion. And that's why this dinner is named after him. And that's going to be at the Elks Club there in Sonora, March 30th at 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. So I hope all of you, especially up in the Motherlode area and around Sonora, will be able to go to this dinner. It's one of the best dinners in our area. Okay, let's see. What else do we have here? Oh, yes. One of the big events that is happening here in Stockton, we have a memorial that is in memory of our Stockton Fire Department fallen firefighters. And the Stockton Host Lions is having a bowling tournament to support having this monument, I believe, is relocated because there has been some vandalism to it. So they're having this wonderful event. It's going to be April 7th at Pacific Avenue Bowl here in Stockton. There's going to be raffles and a silent auction. So if you go to the Stockton Host Lions Facebook page or to the webpage stocktonhostlions.org, you'll get all the information about this wonderful event to help the fallen firefighters monument. Lodi Harbor Day is coming up, and Lions are participating in this particular event April 7th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And this is going to be held at Hale Park in Lodi, California. And what they're going to be doing, they're going to be planting 165 urban trees to help with Arbor Day and with the environment. So I hope a lot of volunteers will get out there to Lodi and to help them. And this is in Lodi, California. The Modesto Sunset Lions are having a wonderful event called Comedy Night. That's going to be April 16th. And next week, Dave McCullough, the past district governor for District 4A1, he'll be on the show and talking about this wonderful event to raise money for our Camp Pacifica, which is a camp near Yosemite, California, and especially for children that have hearing impairment. We have the camp is open every summer for these students, and we have all signing staff, and it's a wonderful camp. So this event called Comedy Night is going to be all the proceeds will be going to Camp Pacifica, and the comedians are all from San Francisco, so it should be a very exciting night. And then the Stockton Phil M. Lions is doing a fundraiser, and it's going to be kind of a fun fundraiser that is going to be at our hometown buffet, which is all buffet. It's going to be in the morning for breakfast, And that is going to be on May 6th. So those of you in the Stockton area or within our district here in District 4A1, please come out and participate. Have a wonderful breakfast and a good time with other Lions. And let me see if there's any other important notices right now. Well, I think I've given about all the notices that I have right now. I hope that some of your other clubs that I haven't mentioned in our district or within the state or within the United States or within the whole world will send me information about your club and some of the events that you're doing. And today I have a wonderful guest. I have a retired sheriff, Pat Withrow, and I'm welcome to have you here today, Pat.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure.
Well, it's my pleasure, too, because you've got a lot of experience in our community being... How many years were you with the Sheriff's Department?
28 years.
28 years.
Yeah.
Saw a lot of things.
Absolutely. Yeah.
One of the things that Pat and I have talked about is programs for our students in schools and at-risk students. And I'd like him to tell you about the program where we have sheriff resource officers that go out to the schools.
Yes.
Okay, can you tell us about that?
Yeah, currently in San Joaquin County, unfortunately, we only have about 4 school resource officers for all the schools in the county.
About how many schools do we have, do you think?
Boy, I don't have that number. There's a lot of them.
A lot of them, right.
When you think about all the different grade levels and throughout
And you're talking about
county.
elementary school and high school,
Absolutely,
too.
yeah.
Oh, my
we have
gosh.
to reach our children at all ages.
Mm-hmm.
And so 4 is a little tough. We need more of our officers involved in schools, not just for safety reasons. And we've all seen what has been occurring throughout our nation nowadays, and we're all concerned about the safety at our children's schools. Unfortunately, we have to worry about that nowadays. But that's not the only reason to have officers at school. We have to have officers at school so that the kids can be around officers and learn that they're not just there during enforcement time.
Exactly.
When somebody's going to jail. The other side of our job is the service side, not unlike the Lions, and we're there to help people, and we should be doing more of the helping than we should have to be doing more of the enforcement side.
Right.
So I'd like to get a lot more of our school resource officers out amongst our kids and our regular officers stopping by if there's a school in their beat and get involved in the schools there also, just like officers of old used to do.
Now, Pat, what would it take? We only have 4 resource officers. Now, is that their main job? I mean, is that what they do all day long? Is go to the schools and work with the students?
Yeah, that's their assignment. And I used to run our school resource officers down in Lathrop, and we had 2 just for the city of Lathrop down there, because the city of Lathrop really invested in the safety and well-being of their kids in the schools down there. And when we were running the program down there, it just makes a tremendous difference. The officers are specifically assigned to the schools, and they're there. A lot of times they'll teach classes, depending on the age group that the school that they're at. They'll teach classes teaching kids all about law enforcement and all about being safe in public and being safe online and things like that. And then there are also a resource at the school to be out amongst the kids during break times and lunch times and things like that, where they get to know the children and the kids get to feel comfortable with them.
Well, I think that's wonderful because so many kids are they get afraid of the police. They think the police is always there to arrest them, or like so many times we get the police officers really get in trouble by the community because they have shot someone because it was necessary. And so our children, elementary school and even high school, like you say, they become afraid of the police,
Right.
afraid to say anything. They think that when they see a uniform, it means it's going to be something bad.
Right. I remember when I was a canine officer. I was a canine officer for 12 years out on the street, and one of my greatest pleasures was to be riding down the street and see some kids out at a park playing or something like that, and just to pull over and get out of my car and call my partner out and go out and just talk and hang out with the kids there and let them get to know the dog and let them get to know me and see that human side of law enforcement, see past the badge and all the equipment and the uniform. And the other great thing that we used to do, and it's been eliminated now, is back when Baxter Dunn was actually sheriff, he...
that was here in San Joaquin County, California.
Yes.
Okay.
And years ago, he had after-school programs where the deputies would volunteer their time and go out and play basketball or football with the kids after school. And so the schools would open up their gyms, and some of the coaches and teachers and stuff would be there too, or even people adults from the neighborhood would show up, and along with the officers. And of course, the officers aren't in uniform; they're on their days off or off their beat at that time, and they would just hang out and play hoops with the kids or play flag football with the kids. And it was fun and exciting. First of all, the kids get to bang on the officers a little bit on the basketball court or out on a field, and that's always fun. And then they get to know that hey, they're just normal folks, and they can trust them, and you build these relationships. And during that time, back in the day when we were able to do that, we actually went 2 years in San Joaquin County without a gang homicide.
Oh, my gosh.
Just by
2 years?
Yeah, we can't go 2 weeks now.
That's really great, yeah.
We just by giving kids something else to do, I mean, there's so many children out there that their parents are gone and having to work, or single parent families, or both parents are out working, and the kids are left at home after school, and they don't have anything to do. And that's when, if you start hanging out with the wrong crowd, you can go down the wrong path.
That's right.
So you can tell what an impact you can make on somebody's lives if you give them alternatives. And it doesn't just have to be sports, It could be, the Lions Club or any of the local clubs getting involved and offering any type of services after school. There could be art classes, there could be music classes,
right.
Anything to do with or gardening or anything like that gives kids options to come and hang out around good people who care about them, that want to keep them safe, and yet they're still learning skills while they're off of school.
So what you're saying, Pat, is that Lions could help with the resource officers in some of the programs that they have, like after-school programs. There aren't too many community centers for students after-school programs, are there?
Unfortunately, a lot of those, because of budget problems and things
right.
like that, have been shut down. And we used to have lots of community service centers around our community where kids could come and hang out afterwards. And some of them are still open, and those are great places, and kids can be safe and secure there. But what we did back then is we'd open up the gyms and things like that of the schools, and of course anybody that comes and works around our kids is you'd have to get the background check done and make sure that we're having safe people around our children.
Right.
But that's a small investment to make sure that kids have something to do and not going down the wrong path.
So, like we were talking before the show, if any of the Lions want to participate in any programs with students and participate with your law enforcement officers in your communities, I don't know if it's the same law in every state, but here in California, if you're working with children, you have to have a background check and fingerprint check to see if you have any type of charges of child molesting.
Yeah, or any other
kind of
type
felonies
of crimes,
or crimes
that
right.
would make it inappropriate for you to be around our kids.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's quick and easy to do nowadays with live scan, and it's very easy to check those. And of course, we'd have to build these partnerships back up again with the schools and with law enforcement and with community organizations, and we'd have to sit down and figure out the parameters of how we're going to do this and where we can do it and what funds are available to pay for anything costs that come up. But anything we can do to keep our kids from going down that that wrong path is a great investment in our community. To would you rather later on in life be paying for a kid $300+ a day to sit in a jail cell,
Right.
or invest now in our community centers and volunteers and helping kids stay on the right path and become productive citizens in our county, and then getting good paying jobs here locally, and the taxes back into our own community, and being able to raise their families here.
Now, let me ask you this. To get more resource officers, now we only have 4 right now here in San Joaquin County through the Sheriff's Department. What would it take to, what kind of funding and where would that funding come from to be able to get more resource officers?
Well, obviously, we have to go through the Board of Supervisors. They're the ones in control of our budget. There are grants and stuff. There used to be available through the state, so the state can also help out with that, or the federal government.
Specifically for police officers to be
Yes,
resource officers?
Yes, they periodically. So we'll have to partner with our legislators in Sacramento and try and find more funding for those type of things. And we used to have them, and we've lost some of those. And so the school resource officers were taken away, some of the other ones that we used to have. And I know that the current sheriff used to have the school pay for half of the cost of a school resource officer, and we'd pay the other half. You mean the sheriff's department would pay the other half? That's correct. Yes.
Now, can the sheriff's department get federal grants to help with community work like that through resource
if they're available,
officers?
it just depends what through COPS programs and things like that. Sometimes, governmental monies come available for things like that, or you go up and you fight with your legislators and say that this is a priority to us and ask them to fund these type of issues. Now, we all know how tight the budget is up at the state level, although we've got a pretty good surplus going on. So, that's where you get in and you build these relationships up there in Sacramento, and you try and get funding and for your community, and maybe start some pilot programs or whatever it is. But as I said in the past, we had officers volunteering their time in the past,
right,
and on their days off going out there to do it because it means that much to them, and so it doesn't have to cost a lot of money. The other thing I'd like to do is, as I said, if we would fully staff our patrol facility, our patrol division, then we'd have more officers out rolling around on regular patrol, and those officers then can take the time to go and when they're not running call to call, and stop at the schools and check in and,
right,
walk around at lunchtime, and so it doesn't just have to be the ones that are specifically assigned there. It can be the ones that are just the
patrolling
schools are
around
in their
the
beat,
area,
and then you make sure that
Mm-hmm.
you take the time to get out there and get in the schools, or you go to the after school programs when there's baseball and basketball or band stuff going on or whatever it is, volleyball. You go to those games if the schools are in your beats, and that's how good officers, when they get to know their area that they're assigned, that they get to know everything that's going on at the schools and when things are happening, and they make sure that they stop in and make sure everything's okay, and then get to know the kids that way.
Now, with Lions clubs, since we do a lot of community work, that's our main thing, is we serve.
Right.
And if clubs wanted to get involved with the resource officers, what do you think would be the best way for them to do that?
Well, your first step would be obviously to reach out to your local law enforcement agencies. Mm-hmm. the cities in our county here, Stockton PD and Tracy and Lodi and Manteca, and everybody has their own school resource officers. And so we used to meet all the time and discuss the issues, because bad guys don't know boundaries, so an issue they're having in Lodi affects all of us in the county.
That's right.
But the first thing you would do is reach out to your local officials and see if they're interested, and then start trying to figure out how you could best help, and that's not just with school resource officers. That's with anything in our community. I know the Lions work so hard to reach out and try and get more people involved in our community, and so the first step is reaching out or picking up the phone and saying, hey, how can we help? Is there any way we can help? I know funds are tight right now, and staffing's staffing's tight and expensive. What can we do to help? And
Right.
and you just start trying to make up a program yourself and see what works. And if you find something that's not working, then you try something else. But
I know our Stockton Police Department, the senior chaplain at the Stockton Police Department has been on our show before, and he has talked about all the city schools. Chaplains have been assigned to the different schools, and they wear the policeman uniform with badge, etc. And so when they go into the schools and they're there all day long, and they work with the kids, and they show to the students that, hey, policemen are not bad.
Right.
And even being a chaplain, we wear the uniform, but it doesn't mean that we're here to enforce laws. We're here to work with you and to answer questions and to help with anything like that.
Yeah.
So I know that the city of Stockton has a large amount of chaplains.
Yeah,
and these are all volunteer chaplains.
Right.
But does the sheriff's department have that?
No, the sheriff's office does not want to have a chaplain program. The sheriff didn't allow it, and that's something that we want to get started. Is a chaplain program out there.
Right.
You know, it's such a benefit for all the employees. First of all, at the sheriff's office, to have that resource available to you with everything that our officers and our civilian staff see on a day-to-day basis and have to deal with. It's great to have a resource like that you can sit down and talk with at any time. And then again, you know, just like you said, it's working in Stockton PD with the chaplains going to the schools. Well, how nice would that be to have that extra body out and
definitely.
rolling around and showing up to the schools? You know, we used to have a very large, what we call the STARS program. They were citizen volunteers. And
There isn't a STARS program anymore?
There is, but it's, from what I'm hearing, it used to be about 300 strong, and we're down to about 30 or 50 people. And so that's another thing we want to invest in and build back up and reach out to our community and get more people involved. And
now,
they too
for
can
those
help us.
out there in our audience that don't understand what STARS program is, can you explain what it is?
Yeah, it's retired seniors that volunteer their time and they come and work with us, and they have a uniform, but it's a separate uniform,
Right.
and so you can tell the difference. But they go out and they'll do vacation checks on homes. If you're going on vacation, you could call the sheriff's department and let us know, and then STARS will come and check on your house.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'd like to even take it a step further, where I would like to have a program where we have a senior citizen hotline. I know on a daily basis I get calls from my mom about somebody calling up and trying to scam her, you know, calling up and saying, oh, gee, your credit card's been stolen, or gee, you know, you have a loved
Right.
one that's in trouble, you need to send us money, or we're the IRS and you're into all these scams. So wouldn't it be nice if we had an 800 number where citizens, senior citizens, or just regular citizens throughout our county could call and ask about these type of things and get information, and we could have our STARS people or our reserves man that, and they'd always have a resource. Some people, you know, don't have a really sweet son like me that they can call up and say, no,
Right.
Mom, that's not real, don't listen to them. But it would sure
daughter. I have a father that's 97 now, 97-year-old
Wow.
World War II veteran.
Nice.
And he is constantly getting these calls. I think what happens is these different organizations and scammers, they buy the names and phone numbers of certain people of a certain age. And a lot of our seniors, like you say, they do not know the difference between a scammer and non-scammer.
Right.
And I've always felt like there needs to be more publicity for seniors. And we're one of the places where I lived a couple of years ago, it's a senior complex, apartment building, 4 stories. Someone shot a bullet through the second story window. And I called the police, and the police came out, and so did the Stockton Record, our local newspaper, and did a story about that. Right. And I even went before the city council and saying that we need to have more protection for seniors. Right. And I think at that time, not too far in the past of this particular incident, we had a senior attacked at one of our best parks. Wow. and his gold necklace stolen. But right. He was a senior, an elderly man. And so having programs that help seniors.
Absolutely.
And I know I've seen the STARS participants at the sheriff's department. They greet you when you come into right. the sheriff's office and give you the direction of where to go. I've seen them out patrolling,
right.
and they're a great representation of the community, and they do a lot of great work.
Absolutely, and other police agencies in our county also have. Lodi has mm-hmm. theirs, and I believe Stockton has theirs, and so, you know, most police agencies have those, but you know, there is so much more we can be doing to help our senior community stay safe and have a resource that they feel comfortable with calling and,
yes.
and checking on, and then if it's a criminal matter, they can forward it out to an officer, up to dispatch, and they could send
exactly.
an officer out. But just nice to have, you know, again, our community is built on, you know, people taking care of people. And
right.
We need to get back to that. And that's what I know the Lions are all about. And that's what we need to get back to in every part of our lives, is that we're taking care of our citizens, and they feel comfortable reaching out to us in law enforcement, and they have an avenue if they just have non-criminal or simple questions, and somebody's going to be there to help them.
Well, I think the idea of the resource officers and enlarging the amount so that they can service all the schools in any of your areas and in our area here in Stockton, California, is so very important.
It is. You know, with all this talk of having to arm teachers and things like that, and
yes.
I think that's just a bad idea. Our teachers, you know, they have so much to do now. What we're going to add one
exactly.
more thing on, so another thing that I'd like to do is reach out to our retired officers. You know, we have a lot of guys that have retired, and they come back and they work what's called per diem for us. They get paid a salary, and they'll work at the courthouse or something like that, but they don't get benefits. But you know, it just helps, because once you retire, your medical expense is still, you know, very costly, and so we could reach out and have our retired officers per diems also at our schools, and they're not in uniform. Do it where they're not in uniform, so the kids feel more comfortable, and yet,
and they could work like resource officers.
Yeah,
yes.
They could just be there and again work it out with the schools, and you know, maybe you call them a safety counselor or something like that,
right?
And they're just around, and they're a resource for the kids that are there, and they can talk about their careers and that type of thing, and let kids know about that. But they're also a resource. They've had the training and the knowledge, mm-hmm. You know, they have eyes on the kids. So if you start to notice a change in behavior in some of the kids, like we've heard about in other school shootings and things like that, again, we're being proactive and stop it before it happens. Now, this retired officer could reach out and find that kid that's the loner, and reach out and become a friend, and find out if there's any problems, and stop things before they happen. And God forbid that if there's somebody comes on campus and wants to do somebody harm, then we don't have to worry about teachers who haven't been trained their whole life to protect people. We have another guy on scene that's there to help and try and stop people from hurting our kids until officers can get on scene.
Now, while you've been talking here, an idea has been popping through my head. It's always happening. Looking at ways that Lions clubs can help. If we were able to, say for instance, if we were able to send out a letter to retired, say, sheriffs, officers, and perhaps have a meeting and talk to them about forming resource officers on a volunteer basis like that, and working with the Lions, and going to schools and possibly developing after-school programs. Do you think that would work?
You know, it's possible. Again, anytime you start thinking up new programs, there's so much you have to do. You have to sit down and kind of get a framework and talk about it, and you start
Right.
talking about the problems that could arise or couldn't arise, and there's always the legal side of things, liability if
Right.
somebody gets hurt on campus, and all these different type of things. The big thing is to start the conversation.
Yes.
You know, start finding out. Okay, we're willing to be part of the solution. How do we help be part of that solution?
Exactly.
And so, you know, you mentioned earlier about the Lions football game coming up in Tracy, and you know, however many years ago, I was fortunate enough to play on that, and Lions touched my life.
Did you play on that?
Yeah, I was
Oh
on
my
on
gosh.
the North-South All-Star team, and
Well, then you know all about that football game.
Absolutely. Still, they give you a little card that gives you a lifetime pass to the game, and I still have that. So,
Well,
you
I
know,
hope you'll come to our game.
Absolutely. And so I know the dedication that the Lions have, and so it's just about in any community reaching out to your local schools or law enforcement or whoever it is, and start putting it out there. Hey, how can we help? You know.
So you are actually one of our very fine community people that are spreading the word to
Well, thank you.
have more programs and work more with our kids and in school, high school, elementary school, and at-risk students. I think that's very commendable. I worked in the Youth Authority for many years myself, working with a lot of high-risk kids, and I saw changes happening to these young men that I was supervising. But when I did my counseling with them and different programs with them, I could see a change. Because a lot of students and a lot of those that are in juvenile hall or in the Youth Authority prisons, a lot of things they haven't had experience in of learning to make wise decisions.
Right.
And I think one of the greatest things that we as adults and people who are in law enforcement or care about the law enforcement, care about our schools, is to help teach children and teenagers and young adults how to make wise decisions.
Right.
And I think that's one of the greatest things that we possibly can do. And having these after-school programs with these resource officers in the county schools, the city schools, is the best thing possible because they can teach wise decision-making.
Yeah, they can be part of it. You know, it became kind of a punchline for a while, but it's still true today. You know, it does take a village, you know, to raise a
definitely
family
does.
nowadays because we're all so busy. And you know, I'm fortunate. I live out in a little small farm town called Escalon, and I say it's like living in Mayberry. And but you know, there everybody really does know everybody else's kids, and they watch out for each other, and they take care of each other, and they close down Main Street when it's homecoming parade or whatever it is, and you know, everybody should get to experience that, and not every child gets to get raised in a family where they have a loving parent or loving parents, and a lot of time it's generational when it comes to gang members and things like that. You know, they have generations that have become gang members, and they just do it because their brother or their father had done it, or
Right.
their mother.
It just goes on and on, generation after generation. Yes.
Right. So you have to teach these kids it's okay not to go down that path, and there are other options, and we have to start when they're very young and stick with them, and when they make a mistake and they fall backwards, then we're there to say, okay, you know, there's a price to pay for that, but we're going to help you back up and give you another chance, but we all need to be part of that. And I know our teachers are doing that on a daily basis. They spend their own money and their time away from their families, and they try and impact the children in their classes, and you hear it when they speak on television when something bad happens at a school, on how that's their kids that are being hurt, you know.
Right.
But the teachers can't do it alone, and we all need to be part of this and reach out and get involved as much as we can, and we'll try everything we can to get out there and make sure that the kids are safe and don't go down that path and have good role models.
This is this particular year through June of 2018 is the Lions 100th year of being Lions International.
Wow.
So it's our centennial. And we have 4 specific projects that every Lions Club throughout the world is doing. And we have over 48,000 Lions Clubs worldwide.
Wow.
In 209 countries. So there's a lot of Lions out there. And one of the projects is working with youth. And I think what Pat has talked about today of having resource officers in the schools and Lions getting involved with the resource officers and the programs after school or during school is something that you should all look at possibly doing in your community. This would be a great project working with youth. And I would like very much for you to come and talk to my Lions Club, Stockton San Joaquin Lions.
It would be my pleasure, and it was my pleasure to come and be one of the judges for your speech class or the
student speaker contest.
Yeah, it was absolutely amazing. I was so impressed by the young lady that won. She was just such a fine representation of our young men and women that are out there trying to do the right thing and trying to get to college, and it's such a blessing that the Lions helps them because it's so expensive. Knowing that I've put 3 kids through college, and now my oldest is a senior at EOP, and or my youngest is, and boy, the expense of college is just astronomical, and for you guys to step in and help out like that is wonderful.
Well, with the student speaker contest, the final winner has approximately about $22,000 in scholarships.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It's very good. But I really have appreciated you coming and talking to us about things in the community and how law enforcement can help in the schools and about resource officers. And I realize that it would take a lot of work for Lions to get involved in some of these programs, but it's worth it. It's worth it to be out there in the community and be in the schools and representing the Lions Club, and the fact that we do serve our communities and we have to serve our youth too. And what Pat has talked about today is a great opportunity for all of us to think about. If you have any questions, you can contact me on my Facebook. The Facebook address is on the screen there. And if need be, I will contact Pat and get some more ideas and bring him on board again.
Or pass along your ideas.
Yes. Before we close, I do have one more piece of information to give to many Lions here in California, in our district especially. Remember Lion Cole Hackley. He, a couple of years ago, was able to go on the honor flight. Have you ever heard of the honor flight, Pat? The honor flight is for Vietnam and World War II veterans, and they're nominated for this particular flight, and they go to Washington, D.C. With an assistant. Many are in wheelchairs and using walkers and so forth. And many are over the age of 70 or even older. And they get to go to the Vietnam Wall and the Vietnam and World War II monuments, and have wonderful luncheons and guest speakers. And it's a wonderful program. And Cole Hackley, he got to go a couple of years ago. His wife, Carol Hackley, Dr. Hackley, she is retired from the University of Pacific here in Stockton. But Cole was a very well-known Lion. He was a member of the Stockton Host Lions Club, and he passed away on March 22nd. For those of you who knew him, I hope you'll say prayers for his wife, Carol Hackley, and there will be a funeral, and you can contact Carol Hackley, or you can contact me at my Facebook page, and I can give you the information about the funeral. But want to send our blessings and our sincere condolences to Dr. Carol Hackley, Carl Hackley's wife, and we're sure going to miss him. He was, sorry. He's a very, very good lion, a very good friend of mine, too. So, with that, I hope you'll send your prayers to think about not only losing Lion Hackley, Cole Hackley, but many of our other lions that we have lost throughout the years. Never forget them. And again, I want to thank you, Pat, for being here today.
Thank you for allowing me to come.
It's been a pleasure too that you've been here and all the wonderful things you have to say. So I'm going to say goodbye to you out there. I hope that you will continue to watch our show. And next week we're going to have a guest that's going to be talking to us about the Sisters of the White Cane. And the week after that, we will be having a lion coming and talking about the comedy night I mentioned today. So I hope you all have a great week. And those of you in our district, District 4A1, will be attending your convention. And with that, I'll say goodbye and have a wonderful week.